Hi Sue, welcome to Truly Astrology. This is your astrological reading. Each planet in our solar system travels through an area of the sky with a particular constellation, shapes made out of the stars, as we viewed them long ago from Earth. The ancient astrologers used mythology and stories with these constellations to understand, establish, and describe a quality of energy on Earth reflected by the images depicted and stories told. Each area of the sky, from an astrologer's perspective, is imbued with a particular sign's energy. The sun sign is the most obvious to understand, because the power generated by the sun is greater than any other planet, given its sheer size. However, what newspapers and magazines fail to acknowledge in the horoscope section is that we are more than just the sun's energy. We are stamped at birth with a cacophony of sound, heat, light, and other molecules vibrating at such unique levels from all sides. Some astrologers will even consider the meteorites in the Milky Way as having some influence. It's important to understand that you, like all of us, were born when the planets, stars, and other celestial objects were in a particular configuration. It's up to an astrologer to interpret these configurations with understanding of the general population and varied expressions of the same quality of energies. It's up to you, as the owner of the birth chart, aka native, to come to your own conclusions as your life unfolds. Because life is not only subtle at times, but deeply personal to you and therefore subjective. Nonetheless, this guide will help you to understand your own energy. I encourage everyone to understand their own energy from an astrological perspective, so that they may also understand others from a place of acceptance that we are all different and must not be measured by another person's yardstick. What we may present to others can be so different that we mustn't be fooled. Astrology serves as a tool to identify streams of energy, each contributing to our community river. To help break down the vast information found in your birth chart, because we're describing a life after all, the following sections indicate certain astrological groupings that your chart belongs to. This starts with the simplest and most general, and then progressively dives deeper into the more complex aspects. Astrology is more accurate with an exact time of birth. However, we can still take a look at the data for the day you were born. You were born on a day where the moon changed signs. Unfortunately, this means we won't be able to pinpoint the areas in your life that correspond to astrological houses, which we would normally do. Nonetheless, I've run a report for 6 AM where the moon was in Aries, versus a report just at the point where the moon transited into Taurus. Both will give slightly different data, but it will be up to you to decide which one you believe to be a truer reflection of who you are. You'll probably come to a conclusion about your accurate time of birth as a result of pondering on this information. Here is your electronically generated birth chart, which saves us astrologers hours of painstaking review of our ephemeruses, not to mention sexagesimal calculations to establish degrees to which each planet falls in relation to one another. The circle in the centre represents Earth from a geocentric perspective. Geocentric means that the Earth is viewed as being central to the solar system, as opposed to heliocentric, which is where the Sun is central to the solar system. When you look at a world globe, you can see how it could be perceived that the Sun travels around the Earth. When you look at the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, which are imaginary paths made by the Sun at different times of the year. In your case, the Sun was travelling through the sign of Sagittarius when you were born, as was Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Although the glyph which represents Venus doesn't quite fit on the chart, you can see it looks like it's falling into Capricorn. As you might have guessed, the symbols you can see represent each planet. and the orbit around the Earth is where they were captured at the time and location of your birth in the Southern Hemisphere. The first grouping is the polarity, positive or negative. This is not of negative connotation. This is a division of general expression, outward or inward. If you were born earlier in the day, your overall mix of polarity is 64% positive versus 36% negative, whereas a little later in the day would suggest you are only slightly more outgoing in your personality than you are introverted. However, with both charts, you are a fairly balanced mix of both. When it comes to your personal planets, however, they are almost all positive. The Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars are faster moving and therefore closest to Earth and have more impact on our daily lives. In other words, your expression to others on a day-to-day basis is outgoing, it's active, and you have a preference for speaking what's on your mind, which helps you to work through ideas verbally and resolve possible struggles by talking about them. This comes more naturally than sitting on thoughts and analysing them until you decide to respond to outside influences. In its basic meaning, you are likely to be more impulsive and reactive, sometimes regretting things you may have said and done later. On the other hand, it also means that you're a natural at taking advantage of opportunities as they arise, and not wasting time in capitalising on something beneficial for yourself or others. In fact, others may envy your sense of urgency in times of need. Nonetheless, if you were born later in the day, having a negative polarity moon may help when you need to do things with purpose. In fact, this would make you more determined to take care of business, and without letting other people in on how you plan to do this, unless of course it's absolutely necessary. Next up is your mix of planets and their modalities. Modality is the modus operandi of the signs: cardinal, mutable and fixed. In your first chart, your overall mix of modality is 6 mutable, 3 cardinal, 2 fixed, though your personal mix is 4 mutable, 1 cardinal and none fixed. In your second chart, your overall mix of modality is 6 mutable, 2 cardinal and 3 fixed, though your personal mix is 4 mutable with only 1 cardinal and 1 fixed. This means that both charts are dominated by mutability, with a dash of cardinality and no fixed energy. Your second chart is also dominated by mutability, with a dash of cardinality and a dash of fixed energy. Mutability is the ability to be flexible, dynamic, and adaptable. Incredibly helpful in navigating change and responding in the moment to immediate experiences. The mutable energy also suggests a certain restlessness and a desire for exploration, as does the cardinal energy, which usually indicates a need for generating goals and ideas to aim for, with a natural lean towards leadership. You may thrive in situations that require quick thinking and adaptability. The lack of fixed energy in your first chart may reduce your determination in completing the activities you've set your heart on, because you easily get bored and then think of more ideas to pursue. Although this means that you may move away from a core of stability, you have fun when you're constantly moving and get a thrill out of new ways of living. The lack of cardinal signs in your second birth chart means that while others rush to lead and meet deadlines, you're content to watch the chaos unfold from a cozy corner, willing to help complete any tasks required of you, as is reflective of your fixed energy. Stress rarely phases you, and you bring a calming, supportive presence to relationships. Think of yourself as the witty sidekick in life's movie, providing balance, laughter, and a relaxed charm that everyone needs. The third grouping is elements: fire, water, earth, and air. Your overall mix of planets in elements includes 6 in fire, 2 in earth, 2 in water, and 1 in air. However, your personal mix, similarly discussed under the polarity section, includes 5 in fire, none in water or air or earth. This means that your nature is expressive and creative, fiery and entertaining, exciting, enterprising, and life-loving. With a lack of the other elements, you may find it difficult to slow yourself down and stay practical with your feet on the ground. This also might lead you to neglecting your deepest emotions in favour of the immediate moments and end up paying for them later. On the other hand, sometimes when an element is missing, we do all we can to over-focus on those areas, in which case you may overanalyze practical matters and confuse yourself with unclear logic and emotion. You are likely to need a partner, friend, or loved one whose practical, emotional, or logical sides are far more developed than your own in order to cope with life's challenges. Bear in mind, though, that fire burns brightly, so you won't have any trouble attracting the right people. Your warmth will provide a certain comfort and balance to those who lack fire. Now that we've described the simpler groupings, we'll now dive into more specific aspects of the chart. The first is where your sun falls in Sagittarius. Sagittarians are like the Indiana Jones of the zodiac. You're always on a quest, whether it's trekking through jungles or diving into deep philosophical debates. With your infectious optimism and enthusiasm, you light up any room you enter. You crave freedom and independence, making routines and restrictions your arch nemesis. Having the sun in Sagittarius signifies a strong Sagittarian influence in your life, characterized by a love for adventure, optimism, philosophical thinking, and a deep-seated need for liberation and exploration. This configuration shapes the core of your identity and life path, highlighting the importance of growth, learning, and an open-minded approach to life. Honest to a fault, you'll tell others exactly what you think, even if it stings a bit. But hey, you mean well. So, if someone is ready for the adventure, you're the perfect travel buddy. Just don't expect to stick to the itinerary. The next description is of your moon, which, as we know, could fall into one of 2 signs. I'll describe chart 1 first, where your moon falls into Aries, and then I'll describe chart 2, where your moon falls into Taurus. When the moon falls into Aries, emotions run hot and fast. You are like an emotional firecracker, passionate, impulsive, and always ready to dive headfirst into whatever you feel. You wear your heart on your sleeve and aren't afraid to show it, making you an exciting and sometimes unpredictable companion. Independence is your middle name. As an Aries moon, you value your freedom and hate being told what to do. You're bold, courageous, and love a good challenge. Emotionally competitive, you thrive on proving yourself and rarely back down from a fight, although the anger may disappear as quickly as it arrived. Just be prepared for your directness. You'll tell others exactly what's on your mind, no sugarcoating. When the moon is in Aries, your eating habits are just as fiery and impulsive as your emotions. You love bold flavours and quick meals, often opting for spicy foods and snacks you can grab on the go. You eat with gusto and aren't afraid to try new and adventurous dishes. However, patience isn't your strong suit, so you might get hangry if you have to wait too long for a meal. In relation to your mother, which is also what the moon can represent, having an Aries moon often means you see your mother as a strong-willed figure. There might be some headbutting and fiery exchanges, as both of you can be quite headstrong. Despite the occasional clash, you admire your mother's courage and determination, possibly seeing her as a role model for your own fearless approach to life. On another note, the moon also represents where we live, our home. So you could be a fan of bold colours and easy, simple living. You might need, for example, a minimalistic decor where there's very few places that require dusting or cleaning. The other manifestations of this energy include moving regularly and quickly too. The ability to pick up everything and go when you need to comes naturally to you. Chart 2. If your moon is in Taurus, you're the emotional rock everyone relies on. Your friends can count on you for stability and comfort, much like a cozy, well-stocked kitchen ready to serve up some soul-soothing comfort food. Your ability to stay calm in the face of drama is legendary, making you a soothing presence when things get rough. Comfort is top priority for your well-being. You adore the finer things in life, especially if they're soft and luxurious. A perfect evening for you involves a comfy couch, a glass of fine wine, a decadent bar of the finest Madagascan chocolate, and a marathon of your favourite TV shows. Food is also your love language, and your talent for cooking and baking ensures your dinner parties are always a hit. Your patience is one of your superpowers. Whilst others might lose their cool, you wait things out with calm assurance, making you a fantastic listener and a dependable friend. Once someone has earned your loyalty, you're steadfast and unwavering, providing support through thick and thin. Of course, you can be a bit stubborn, but this determination means you're incredibly reliable. You have a heightened appreciation for all things sensual, from fabulous fabrics to melt-in-your-mouth meals. Your love for beauty and comfort makes your home a haven of tranquility and delight, making everyone feel cherished in your presence. Next up is your Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury in Sagittarius means it profoundly influences your mental processes, learning style, perspectives, and more. Your mind is naturally inclined toward big ideas and philosophical thinking. You are an expansive thinker who loves exploring concepts, theories, and ideologies. Optimism and open-mindedness characterize your mental energy, as you often see the bigger picture rather than getting bogged down by details. You approach learning with an adventurous spirit, thriving on experiences that broaden your understanding of the world. Traditional rote methods of learning might bore you. Instead, you prefer engaging in deep philosophical discussions, travel, and diverse cultural experiences to satisfy your thirst for wider knowledge. When it comes to communication, you are forthright and candid, speaking your mind with honesty and defending your beliefs with passion. You value freedom of speech and enjoy engaging in debates to explore different viewpoints. Your optimistic nature means you seek common ground and strive to understand various perspectives, reflecting your focus on the broader picture. Overall, Mercury in Sagittarius endows you with a mentally vibrant, curious, and expansive outlook on life, making you a seeker of knowledge and adventure in all aspects of your existence. Next up is your Venus, which is also in Sagittarius. Your love life is like a non-stop adventure movie, complete with spontaneous road trips and dramatic ups and downs. You're the Indiana Jones of romance, always seeking excitement and a partner who's ready to explore the world with you. Settling for a mundane routine? Not your style. With your Venus in Sagittarius, when it comes to commitment, you're a bit like a cat. Loving but fiercely independent. You need a partner who gets that love doesn't have to mean losing freedom. Flirting is your second language, of course, and your playful, witty nature makes you irresistible. Of course, admirers should remember not every flirtation is a lifelong commitment. You're a sucker for intellectual stimulation. Deep conversations about life, culture, or philosophy are your idea of a perfect date. Grand gestures? Absolutely. Being wild at heart, you think big and love showing your affection in bold and unforgettable ways. Your honesty is part of your charm, even if it can be a bit blunt at times. You're a fun-loving, adventurous spirit who values freedom, honesty, and a good laugh. Your love life is always exciting. and your partner will never be bored. And if you didn't realise it, Venus also covers friendship. So freedom, honesty and a good laugh also applies to your friendships. Then you've got Mars, also in Sagittarius. With your Mars in Sagittarius, your energy and drive are all about adventure and excitement. Picture yourself as a superhero, always ready for the next big quest. You approach life with boundless enthusiasm and a thirst for new experiences. It's just not your thing sitting still. You're always on the move. Whether it's planning a spontaneous road trip or diving into a new hobby. When it comes to challenges, you're like a firecracker, bursting with energy and ready to take on anything that comes your way. You tackle obstacles head-on with a fearless and optimistic attitude. Your friends and family might call you the life of the party because you bring an infectious energy that gets everyone pumped up and ready for action. In relationships, you are all about keeping things lively and fun. You're attracted to partners who share your love for adventure and spontaneity. Boring routines are your enemy, so you need someone who can keep up with your pace and join you in your spontaneous escapades. Bear in mind, not everyone can match your energy levels, so a little patience goes a long way. Your honesty and directness can sometimes catch people off guard, but it's all part of your charm. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say. You're always ready for a good debate or a philosophical discussion, making you an engaging and dynamic conversationalist. Your fearless attitude and love for spontaneity make you a fun and inspiring person to be around. Perhaps your friends and partners can't keep up with your whirlwind of activity. Now that we've gone through all of your personal planets, the next section is about patterns. Normally it would involve aspects and angles, but unfortunately we can't calculate those without the time of birth. But there is one pattern which you may have picked up on yourself. The pattern is referred to as a stellium. You have 4 planets all in Sagittarius, including the Sun, which emphasizes the energy generated. Your Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars are all in Sagittarius. Having them all in Sagittarius means you're basically the life of the cosmic party. You're like a walking festival of enthusiasm and adventure. Picture a globe-trotting philosopher with a knack for spontaneous dance parties. You're driven by an insatiable curiosity and a love for all things new and exciting. As a Sun in Sagittarius, you're the eternal optimist, radiating energy and zest for life. Mercury in Sagittarius means your mind is a playground of big ideas and honest opinions. Conversing with you is always lively and thought-provoking, even if your bluntness sometimes catches people off guard. In love, Venus in Sagittarius makes you a fun-loving and spontaneous partner. Mars in Sagittarius fuels your drive with passion and excitement. Overall, you're a dynamic, adventurous soul who turns every moment into an exploration. I also include here Truly's recommendations. The reason I include these is so you know what pitfalls to watch out for. Life is complicated, and your life is unique. With your Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars all partying in Sagittarius, you're the ultimate adventure enthusiast. But even the most spirited adventurer needs a few pointers to avoid the occasional faceplant. Here's some friendly advice to keep your journey smooth. Overcommitment. Your enthusiasm is infectious, but remember, you are not a superhero even if you feel like one. Sometimes it's okay to say no and avoid turning into a human tornado of commitments. Impulsivity. With all that fiery Sag energy, you might leap before you look. For example, before you jump on a plane to Timbuktu, maybe just double check the destination first. Blunt communication. Your honesty is refreshing, like a cold splash of water. But not everyone likes to be drenched. Try a sprinkle of tact to keep your truth bombs a little less water balloon and a bit more water pistol. Remember, life is an adventure, and with your Sagittarian spirit, it's going to be a wild ride. Just keep these tips in your backpack and you'll navigate the journey with style, laughter, and maybe a few less bumps. Well, Sue, I truly hope you've enjoyed this reading. Feel free to share it with your friends and family to see if they resonate with it as well. Please feel free to stay connected with me on social media for any astrological questions. And don't forget to scan to win an astrology report. 10% of all income is donated to Empowered by Arthritis Australia.